just trying to... Aaron, do we have a red piece of chalk?
Yeah.
Because I think... How many jobs? What are the jobs?
There it is.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a... What do you think? Does that work?
That'll do. Yeah.
That'll do?
You got it.
Good.
Good. Perfect, man.
How many...
Thank you.
How many jobs do you create? Percentage during the recession?
June 2009, about 48% of all the jobs created in America were in Texas.
Thank you, sir.
Come add to it.
Thank you. Would love to. All right. I have no idea who that man was. That's not the candidate you were looking for. All right, I have some good news for you. The Senate Armed Service Committee just approved the next Secretary of Defense. He's fantastic. If I told you that we had a guy that was, okay, kind of a socialist, kind of not really strong in defense, but he could be unanimously endorsed, what would you say, huh? Full Senate's going to vote on this nomination next week. No date has been set. We got him. He's transitioning from his post at CIA. Now, he leaves a legacy behind him of a revolutionary, groundbreaking leader. He was the only CIA chief to get all of his information from watching the news on television. He was sitting in front of the House Intelligence Committee. He said, this is during the midst of the Egyptian riots back in February. Watch this. This is brilliant. Watch.
I got the same information you did, that there is a strong likelihood that Mubarak may step down this evening.
He didn't know, but he only had the full resources of the CIA. Senior intelligence official was left to clean up the mess, saying that he was, quote, clearly referring to press reports. His statements were not based on intelligence reports, of course not. He also gave America a fresh new take on the Muslim Brotherhood. While most people believe the Muslim Brotherhood leaders, you know, when they said if they gained power in Egypt, their first order of business would be declare war on Israel and wipe them off the mat. Not this guy. No, not worried about the Muslim Brotherhood. Here he is.
This is not a monolithic organization. It's an organization that goes back to the 1920s. And it varies from area to area. And so it's very difficult to kind of say, okay, you know, they are extremists.
Yeah. Varies from area to area. Some areas, they play pinochle. That's all they do. Some, okay, they want to kill the Jews at all costs, you know. But extremists, pinochle. Kill all the Jews. We don't know. So I'm looking forward now to him being the Secretary of Defense because he's going to bring that same revolutionary kind of intelligence, you know, he's going to bring that cable news philosophy with him. You know what? I know he prefers CNN, but Leon, I mean, just in case you're watching now, Coke over Pepsi. Also, Muslim Brotherhood, bad. So, take him seriously, because he's a serious dude. The president doesn't need any more logs on the fire in the Middle East, I'll tell you that right now. And he's going to be great at the Secretary of Defense. Does anyone find it odd that he's going from the CIA secretary to the Secretary of Defense? And we have General Petraeus replacing him at the CIA. I don't think I've ever seen that flip before. We look back in the records, it was 1973. I can't figure it out really myself because this guy's really, I mean, he's a leftist. He's not a big military guy. He was a budget numbers geek in the Office of Management and Budget during the Clinton administration. And nothing screams Secretary of Defense quite like debits and credits. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not sure what's going on here exactly. And so I'm not going to speculate. I instead am going to let one of the terrorists from the Weather Underground, Mark Rudd, I'm going to let him speculate. But not today. He speculated right after Obama got elected. Listen to this. Quote, Obama had to basically play to the center, not be run over. He has a narrow mandate for change. The economic agenda will stress stimulation from the bottom sometimes and handouts to the top at other times. Isn't that amazing? That's what he said right after he got elected. The terrorists from the Weather Underground knew. I mean, he's nailed it so far. Then he says, move on the small stuff, but to a small and significant extent, gain support and confidence. Leave the military alone because they're way too powerful. By the second or third year of this recession, however, when stimulus is needed at the bottom, people may begin to discuss cutting of the military budget. If security is being increased through diplomacy, hey, all we want to do is 1967 lines, that's it. Or the application of international law. I'm just saying, a responsibility to protect. But one thing, he goes on to say, I do know, is that you'll have to be able to look like you're doing one thing, but do another. Again, that's a weather underground terrorists. I mean, this president, gets his weather from the Weather Channel. He knows nothing about these guys. It's weird. If you watched the debate just last night, I think it was a guy who was in the Navy, I think. He was asking a question. And he said this, quote, "We have issues at home, and we have to reduce our expenditures." Isn't that weird? Like a Navy guy saying, hey, we should. Do you think that Mark Rudd got this one right? Who knows? All you have to worry about it, you just trust the senators, okay? Because the senators are going to look into this. And in case they don't worry. We've got 13 shows left, and there are plenty of people in the mainstream media that will follow this story for you. Trust.